Hello everyone, welcome again. Today we are talking about one of the rarest tanks in the game, a Russian heavy premium tank on tier 8, the mighty KV-5. As you can see, the tank looks quite similar to KV-4, and yeah, it is kinda is. But see, before we talk about the parameters, and let's have a look on the offer. In the shop, for 5,500 of gold, we have a tank, KV-5, we have a with garage slot, 9 equipment slots unlocked, Grandma's gift rare camouflage, which looks really ugly, 500,000 of credits, 1 month of premium, 20 certificates for ×5 experience for this particular tank, and a BLITZ order legendary avatar. This is one of those offers that we used to have for level, for T34, for super Pershing. 5,500. This is very good deal for the tank, plus 1 month of premium and all those bonuses. Basically, it's like a little bonus for a premium account that you're buying. So yeah, the offer looks pretty good. But if we look at the parameters, like I said, the tank is one of the rarest tanks, and it was a brilliant tank at the time. But if you look at the parameter, we're gonna talk about the gameplay of this tank a bit later. But let's talk about the parameters now. The gun here, we have 2 guns. Both of them, they're 107mm. One is ZIS-6M and one ZIS-6D. The main difference between those 2 guns is reload time and penetration. The first gun, we have aiming time 5.4 seconds, dispersion 0.38. Is of course is a Russian gun, so it's not very accurate. DPM 2169, reload time 8.85, so it's quite quick reload for a heavy tank. But here is a price that we have to pay: 167mm of penetration, which for tier 8 heavy tank is not a fantastic value. On premium shells we have 219 penetration and 54 on high explosives. Alpha damage 320, which is okay, quite okay. 270 on premiums and 400 on high explosives. 7 degrees of gun depression, which is quite good, especially if we talk about the Russian tank. And the other gun, the difference is here. Slightly slower aiming time, 5.5 is not a big difference, so almost not noticeable. DPM 1720, about 500 points lower than in the previous gun. Reload time 11.22, 2.5 seconds longer than the previous gun. And the main difference is here, 219mm of penetration, which is quite reasonable now for a tier 8 premium tank, heavy tank, and 250 on premium shells. High explosive remains the same, 54mm, and then of course alpha damage exactly the same like in the previous one, same gun depression. So that was the main difference. Penetration, which is much better in a second gun, and a longer reload time. That's it. About the speed, similar to KV-4 but slightly better. If you look here, we have weight 100 tons. is a seriously heavy monster. Engine power 1200 horsepower, that gives us power to weight ratio 12 horsepower per ton, which is for such a big tank is not brilliant value. And as you can see, maximum speed forward is 40 kilometers and reverse 11, but average speed is only 21 kilometers per hour. Still slightly better than KV-4, but not a brilliant speed. If we compare those 2 tanks, KV-4 and KV-5, as you can see, it's exactly like I said before. They are really similar. It's only about 4-5% difference in favor of KV-4 according to the gun, and the benefit of a KV-5 is a slightly better speed just because of a better terrain resistance, because the engine remains exactly the same here. The next thing we're supposed to talk about is armor. If you look on the armor profile of KV-5, on the model it looks really strong and solid. All dark red or orange is supposed to be strong, and if you look at the parameters, it kinda is, because on the lower part of the hull we have 209mm to 207mm, upper part 339 to 346, so upper part is really strongly armored. Both sides of the turret 287 to 322, and all this is nicely sloped, so is a kind of strong armor. Both sides get the same situation. The problem starts here in the middle, 190 to 189, and here the same situation, 190 to 188. this part could be penetrated by most of the guns on tier 8, especially on tier 9. Another problem here, 194, 180 millimeters, so all this is a one big weak spot. In here, same situation, it looks red, but we have only 200 millimeters of armor here, so again, tier 8 and 9 can easily penetrate it. And this is a heavy tank supposed to be fighting in the front line. If you look on it on the commander's hatch here, 183, again another weak spot, and even better here, because here we have only 151 millimeters. So both hatches on top of the tank, plus those big cupolas in front, they're one big weak spot. So it's kind of difficult to protect them. On the side, nothing special. We have 150, 152 millimeters on all over the tank, turret plus the whole everything at about 150 millimeters. On the back of the tank, turret as well armored 140 millimeters, and here we have 93. All this part is a 93 millimeters. On the bottom we have 140, so this part is kind of weak but still strong enough to protect from high explosives. Basically, like I said before, this tank is like similar to KV-4, and it works like a KV-4 because the tank has a huge weak spot on the front, so yeah, no doubt of that, but it's like a natural born side scrapper. Look at the situation when we use set the side scrap, for example like this, and here we have 437 millimeters of armor, 280, nearly 300 here, or goes to 300, 187. This one is the only part that can be penetrated, because, and here, because 267 here, but here in front is only 180. And if you manage to hide it, just to show this part, so this is only part that can be penetrated, and if you manage to wriggle and prevent enemy from shooting in here, side scrap's supposed to be kind of solid, because every shell that lands here gonna be bounced, because like as you can see, we have 542 millimeters here, 280, nearly 300 here, and a nice sloped angle here. So basically all gonna be bounced or just catch on the tracks, maybe detract. But again, even if you get detract, all this part is really strongly armored, not penetratable. In the front the same, 339, 230. So like I said, natural born side scrapper. If you look here, armor performance, like I said before, against tier 7 and 8, tier 7, yeah, that's really solid tanks. On tier 7 you can fight with almost every enemy. On tier 8 and 9 the problem starts because the frontal armor gets really weak. As you can see, it gets all yellow, so it could be easily penetratable. So as you can see, we have a quite interesting tank with a solid armor, couple of weak spots, of course, especially in the front of a tank that's supposed to be covered all the time. So that's why the second name of this tank is supposed to be the side scrap. Every time, whenever you can, try to set up a side scrap, and then or angle the tank all the time, angle the tank to make that armor as much effective as possible. Second thing, always stay in the move, wriggle your turret, do not let enemy to aim on your weak spots, because when you wriggle, that's going to be, you know, the angles on the turret going to be more effective and cause more bounces, that's for sure. Third thing, you may rely a little bit on knowledge, lack of knowledge, or again in enemy team, because like I said, this tank is not very popular and not everyone knows how to fight it. Like most of the people see, when they spot it, they think it's like kind of KV-4, but KV-4 has a nice solid armor all over the place. The only weak spot is on the top of the turret, you know, that small cupola with the machine gun. In here is completely different, so this may be a little bit of your advantage. And that's it. If you face the enemy, try to get as much as possible to the face hack. So enemy gonna have a problem if you manage to cover your weak spots with your gun, for example. Then you may use advantage of your quicker reload, and then deal the damage and cover your weak spots, cover them with the gun. So you may get a gun damage instead of losing hit points. And that's it. If I would recommend this tank, if you're an experienced player, yes, probably yes, because like I said, the tank is quite unique, and it's not so easy to play. Of course, you have to get some knowledge about the weak spots and certain techniques on the battlefield. So if you are a beginner, I would like to suggest probably something else, not this one, some other tanks like T-34, for example, or Object 252U, just to learn to play on higher tiers. For experienced player, yeah, that should be a good offer, especially if you consider the amount of premium and all those bonuses. Yeah, that could be a good offer. For me, I'm not really fancy about this tank, so I will not buy it. But yes, if you're like I said, if you're an experienced player, got experience on heavy tanks, yes, I would recommend this offer. And that's it. I hope I give you some useful information in this video. And if you want to see other tank reviews, you can browse the channel, find something, because there is a couple of tanks already reviewed here. If you like my videos, you can subscribe the channel and stay tuned for incoming ones. And that's it. Thanks everyone for coming and watching. I hope I'm gonna see you next time. Meanwhile, take care and goodbye.